Hey everybody, this is Bob. Welcome to Things I Like. Well, here we are on the Centennial Bridge in beautiful downtown Cottage Grove. We're off on another road trip, this time for about 4 days in southern Oregon and northwestern California. Not quite sure what we're going to see, but come along. The reason we're in Cottage Grove this morning is to get gas and something to eat, but also because although I've zoomed by on the freeway many times, I've never actually stopped. It seems like a nice, smallish town. It has enough, but not too much. After we leave here, we'll be heading south about 100 miles to hopefully tour the historic Wolf Creek Inn and Tavern, and then, maybe, visit the nearby ghost town of Golden. The Wolf Creek Inn was built along the Applegate Trail in 1883 for Henry Smith, a local businessman. I'm sure it was a very welcome stop for travelers in the late 1800s, who probably arrived by stage or horseback, either from the north over a patchwork of questionable roads or from the south by way of an improved goat path. It's the oldest continually operating inn in the Pacific Northwest and is where writer Jack London stayed while working on his novel Valley of the Moon. Clark Gable, Carol Lombard, Orson Welles, and other notables also stayed at the inn. It's listed on the National Register of Historic Places as the Wolf Creek Tavern. The inn, tavern, and restaurant is owned by the Oregon Parks and Recreation Department and is still in operation today. The inn was featured as a lockdown location on an episode of Ghost Adventures. String trimmers. Can't live with them, can't live without them. The room where Jack London stayed. The accommodations were cramped by today's standards, but today, however, there are 9 larger air-conditioned guest rooms available, including one once occupied by Clark Gable. A portion of the inn has been set aside as a museum of sorts, documenting the history of the inn and the surrounding area. Many celebrities of the early 20th century came here, probably by rail, as a getaway from the hustle and bustle of their regular lives. Since the early days, meals have been served in this beautiful dining room. I suspect the menu options may have expanded greatly since then. The back patio looks like a great place for an event or to just enjoy a warm summer evening. Well, it's time to say goodbye to the Wolf Creek Inn Tavern and head a few miles up the road to the old gold mining ghost town of Golden. Golden is about 4 miles east of the Wolf Creek Inn. The road starts out paralleling the freeway, but before long enters a beautiful forested area. The drive takes about 10 minutes, as the narrow road has a few corners and you never know what wildlife might be crossing. The quest for gold in the area began in the 1850s, although in 1860 the miners all but deserted the area during the Idaho Gold Rush. In their absence, hundreds of Chinese miners worked the claims, but relinquished them when the miners returned. Golden was established in 1890. By then, hydraulic mining was the primary mining method. Golden is a little unusual for a mining town in that it had 2 churches and no saloons. One congregation met in the actual church and the other in the school. Those that felt the need for refreshments usually traveled a few miles to the community of Placer. Many of the buildings in Golden are thought to be haunted. The church was featured on an episode of Ghost Adventures. The building that housed the general store and post office is still in pretty good shape, although the cupboards are pretty bare. The structure known as the granary still stands, but it's in pretty rough shape. The school's in great shape and seems to have been placed on a modern foundation. A word of warning for anyone visiting Golden: poison oak grows very well in the area. Well, that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you want to see more videos like this, and some not like this, please subscribe. That's a bear.
Oh my God.
That's a bear. That's a bear.